Well, the magic of the show is the family, the dynamics of the family and the stories that
It's very interesting to see why people need money and why they come to the pawn shop. Les Gold's life took a turn that no one saw coming: betrayals, business fights, and shocking decisions that changed everything. This is not just about a man building a pawn empire, it's about the chaos, the risks, and the brutal realities behind the scenes. Then came the ultimate betrayal. Seth, his own son, made a business move that shook the family to its core. Tune in for the truth that left everyone speechless. The rise of Detroit's pawn empire is not just about a man making it big in the pawn business. It is a roller coaster of unexpected turns, betrayals, and shocking decisions that changed everything. From the very start, Les was not some random kid with a dream. He was built for business. As a child, he was already selling goods in his grandfather's shop before most kids even understood what a dollar was worth. By the time he was a teenager, he had already developed the instincts of a seasoned dealer, always looking for an angle and always closing deals. But just when he thought he had mastered the game, one deal would shake the very foundation of everything he had built. In the year 1978, he founded American Jewelry and Loan in a shopping center on 8 Mile Road. Yes, the same 8 Mile that became famous for its gritty reputation. Detroit was not the easiest place to run a pawn shop, but Les thrived on the challenge. He had an instinct for knowing what people needed and how to turn it into a profit. By the early 1990s, he was no longer operating a small store. He had expanded into a massive 50,000 square foot facility, one that had previously been a bowling alley. Business was booming. Customers poured in, and the Gold name was becoming synonymous with pawnbroking on a national level. His family was not just watching from the sidelines. His wife, Lily, had been in it from the start, and their children, Seth and Ashley, became deeply involved in the operation as well. Seth, with a head for marketing, brought fresh ideas and modernized the store's advertising strategy. No more reliance on traditional newspaper ads or outdated lists. This was about positioning the business in the modern world. Ashley, armed with a degree in business and a certification in diamond grading, became a critical player, ensuring that the jewelry department was not just profitable but also well managed. The business was a true family affair, though that did not mean things were always peaceful. Television executives soon took notice, and in the year 2009, a former producer from a notorious daytime talk show approached Les with an idea: turn American Jewelry and Loan into a reality television series. The concept was simple: bring cameras into the shop and show the daily dealings of a high-volume pawn business. The show, titled Hardcore Pawn, premiered at the end of the year and instantly became a sensation. It provided an unfiltered look into the intense negotiations, bizarre transactions, and volatile customers that came through the shop every day. Unlike other shows that focused on rare artifacts or historical pieces, Hardcore Pawn featured a wide variety of items. We take alligators, we take Bentleys, we take 5-carat diamond rings, we take big watches, we take jewelry of all kinds. With every item came a story, 40,000 stories, in fact. This was about real people, real struggles, and real money. Hardcore Pawn quickly became one of the most watched reality television shows of its kind. Millions of viewers tuned in, fascinated by the drama unfolding in Detroit. There were outrageous customers, heated arguments, and deals that would make or break a seller's day. But behind the scenes, tension was building. Seth and Ashley had very different approaches to the business, and their disagreements were not just for television, they were real. They fought over control, over decisions, and over who contributed more to the company's success. Les found himself constantly mediating their disputes while also trying to keep the shop running smoothly. Then there was Rich. He had been with the store for decades, long before the cameras arrived, and fans of the show quickly grew to love him. His laid-back attitude and witty remarks made him a standout, and soon enough, he was just as well known as the Gold family themselves. That did not sit well with everyone. There were whispers that Rich was getting too popular, drawing too much attention away from the family. Whether it was a business decision or a personal one, Rich was eventually let go, and fans were left with more questions than answers. The departure of Rich was just one of many twists in the chaotic story of Detroit's pawn empire. There were many shakeups at American Jewelry and Loan. Employees were suspended, accusations of misconduct surfaced, and constant issues arose with customers who thought they could out-negotiate seasoned pawnbrokers. One of the biggest scandals involved a security guard named Joe, a man who had been trusted to protect the store but was caught stealing from it instead. It was all caught on camera, making for one of the most shocking moments in the show's history. The family drama didn't end there. Ashley's relationship with a cousin who worked at the shop as a pawnbroker, and the manager of American Jewelry and Loan, added fuel to the fire. The shop was full of tension, and her constant battles with Seth made things even more complicated. Seth saw himself as the mastermind behind the business, always pushing for new marketing strategies and expansion opportunities. Ashley, on the other hand, was more focused on the in-store experience and making sure the operation ran smoothly. Their father had to step in more times than he could count to keep things from boiling over. But the biggest conflict of all happened when Seth decided to sell a store location without telling his father. It was a bold move, one that sent shockwaves through the family and nearly fractured their relationship beyond repair. Les was furious when he found out, and for a while, it seemed like the business might not survive the internal strife. Somehow, they managed to move past it, but the tension never fully disappeared. By the year 2014, hardcore porn came to an abrupt spread online that Les Gold had died. The reasons behind its cancellation were never completely clear and ran with it, with some speculated that viewership had declined, others believed that True TV simply wanted to move away Seth posted a video of his father alive and suggested that the constant comparisons to porn stars, a more polished show that focused on his fans' valuable items, laughing off the false reports and assuring everyone that he was still very much in the game. Showcased mild deals and historic artifacts. Just when things seemed settled, hardcore porn was about the gritty reality of everyday pawnbroking. Nothing stays the same. Les defended the show fiercely, one rare find that arguing that it provided an honest family look at how the business really worked. Holding on to two shiny Gretsch after the show ended, guitars, the Gold family didn't just fade into the background. Bills were stacking up. Les wrote a business memoir, and with no better options, he had learned they brought their prized instruments to the pawn shop. Seth continued to push the business forward, took one look and threw out an recognition and awards for his contribution. Ashley decided to go no haggling, no back and forth, just like that, and the deal was strong online presence. But here's the kicker: even without running the serial numbers, they continued to make realized he had seriously carving out their own path. Instead of just when things seemed to settle down, he called them back to make 2023 brought another twist. They walked in, probably expecting the worst, only for Seth to hand over another $1,000, bumping their total to $2,800. It was a rare move in the porn world, but a win for everyone involved. Next up, a sleek custom chopper rolled in, looking like something straight out of a biker's dream. The owner, desperate for cash, was hoping for $10,000. That was a stretch. Seth had a business to run and wasn't in the habit of handing out big bucks without a fight. This beauty came packed with a 113 motor, which alone could fetch $7,000, but pawn shops don't deal in potential, they deal in profit. Seth lowballed him hard, throwing $5,000 on the table. The seller flinched and pushed back, and after some tense moments, they finally landed at $5,500. Not quite what the guy wanted, but when money is tight, you take what you can get. Sometimes, the best treasures aren't walked into the shop, they are dug up. In storage units, Les and Seth followed a tip from their friend Tim, who had just scored an item for a little over $2,000. The unit was a mess: clothes, broken furniture, and random junk. Nothing screamed big money. Then, buried under the chaos, they spotted a limited edition cock bronze eagle statue. Only 75 of these were ever made, and Les knew he had something special. He quickly fired off an offer of $3,500, but Tim wasn't budging. If Les wanted this, he would have to dig deeper into his pockets. After some negotiating, they shook hands on a cool $6,000. Tim walked away with a hefty profit, and Les had a chance to flip the rare find for even more. Next, a rare 1976 Brickland rolled up, looking like a forgotten relic from a time when gold wing doors were the future. The owner, hoping to cash in, had been using it as a party bus. He said, "The craziest things I've heard about my party bus are lap dances for the drivers as tips. We've owned this bus for 2 years, we're ready to move up to a 55-passenger. But there was a problem: the car needed work. New tires, fresh paint, and an entirely new exhaust system were necessary, which meant a lot of money to pour into a vehicle that wasn't exactly a hot commodity. Les loved it, but he wasn't in the business of throwing money away. Instead of buying, they struck a deal on a $7,000 loan. If the owner never paid it back, well, let's just say Les wouldn't be too heartbroken about adding this unique ride to his collection. But what was better than a bus? A party bus. This one started its life as a plain old passenger transport, but the owner transformed it into a rolling nightclub, with everything, lights, sound system, and seats perfect for wild nights. Now, the guy wanted to sell it and upgrade to something even bigger. He threw out a ridiculous number, $225,000. Les was not having it. He countered low, offering just $6,000, but the owner wouldn't bite. The dance continued, with numbers flying, and it became clear that the seller was getting desperate. In a last-ditch move, he finally caved at $8,000. Just like that, the pawn shop added one of the most questionable yet entertaining purchases to its history. Then there was Crystal, who walked into the pawn shop with a bag of jewels, not expecting much. She figured maybe she could scrape together $100 to help cover her grandmother's funeral costs. But when Les, the guy with an eye for surprises, took a second look, things took a turn. Ashley, always the skeptic, figured the jewels were just cheap costume pieces, no way they were worth anything. But Les wasn't about to miss a chance at something big. Enter the gem expert, Bob. After running tests and checking them out, an unexpected discovery occurred. Out of all the shiny pieces, one was the real deal, a Burmese ruby worth $10,000. Just like that, Crystal walked out with a life-changing sum, and Ashley, well, maybe next time she would hold back on the instant judgment. Back in the early days of the shop's history, Les had picked up a 1941 Chevrolet for $5,800. At the time, it seemed like a smart investment. But fast forward 3 years, and that classic car was just gathering dust, taking up valuable storage space. His kids, Seth and Ashley, had been on his case about getting rid of it. Finally, he caved and decided it was time to sell, and sell he did, for a solid $14,500. That was more than double what he had originally paid. You'd think his kids would finally cut him some slack. After all, it was a piece of Detroit history. But that wasn't the case. Some people just love to complain. Then came one of the strangest purchases ever made at the shop. Les got his hands on something straight out of a horror movie, the van once owned by Dr. Jack Kevorkian, the infamous physician who helped over 130 people with assisted suicide in the 1990s. This van had a history, and that history was morbid, to say the least. Originally sold to a scrapyard for a measly $150, it somehow found its way back into the spotlight. Les ended up forking over $20,000 for it. If that wasn't bizarre enough, the way he got it was even wilder. He won it on a $20,000 coin flip. But the oddity didn't stop there. The following year, he managed to offload it to Zach Baggins, the ghost hunter, for an estimated $32,000. Not bad for a van with such a dark past. Then there was the time Les went all in on watch bands. He was trying to turn things around after a series of terrible buys, stuff like pool salesman's samples and taxidermy that nobody wanted. But then came the chance to sell a rare Breitling watch for $42,000. Instead of getting paid in cash, though, the pawn shop ended up with 130 cases packed full of watch bands. That was certainly one of the more unusual hammering
deals
the price down to
$67,000.
Watch bands
It wasn't
were
exactly
there,
chump change,
taking up space,
but for a car
not
this
exactly
special,
the quick
it was a
payday
total
Les
win.
had hoped for.
It was the kind of
He
deal
tried
that
selling
made
them
all
for
the bad
$2
buys
a
almost
piece,
worth it,
hoping to make it worth his
beyond
while.
the thrill of the deal.
If
The
everything
real story
sold,
unfolds
he would
when
have
the
doubled
numbers
his
start
money.
adding up. A Mercedes,
But reality
a
hit
mansion,
hard,
and the
and in
price
the
of
end,
success.
Seth let it slip on social
Speaking of
media
money,
that they
Les's
had just
net
barely
worth
broken
sits at a
even.
hefty $5 million.
It was a painful lesson in how not
Most
every
of that
deal
comes
turns
from his
to
pawn
gold.
business.
The biggest
and
deal the
television
shop
fame,
ever pulled
but
off,
he didn't stop
however,
there.
would be the rarest
In
of rare
2013,
finds.
he
A
wrote a book called For
2009
What
Lear
It's Worth,
Clark Ford
Business
Mustang.
Wisdom from a Pawn Broker,
Only
sharing
45
his
of these
strategies
beauties
and
were
life
ever
lessons.
made, marking the 45th
People ate it up,
anniversary of the
and
Mustang
the book even
itself
climbed
when
to
a
number
couple
4
pulled
on
into
the
the
New
lot,
York Times
towing this beast
bestseller
of a
list.
car. Les and the gang
More
knew
sales,
they had to
more
move
money,
fast.
but Les isn't just about the
These
pawn
things
game.
easily sold for $80,000.
He has an eye for real
Les
estate
and
too.
Seth worked their magic. Back in 1987, he and his wife Lily snagged a 1.5-acre property in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. They paid $145,000 for it, which was a solid deal back then. Now, that same property is worth around $1.5 million, not a bad investment at all. And because a millionaire needs some flash, Les rolls around in a sleek classic car, a 1961 Mercedes-Benz 190 SL with a price tag of around $118,000. This isn't just any old ride, but a true collector's piece, proving that Les knows value beyond just the shop. He built his fortune on more than just pawning. It's about knowing what's worth holding onto and what's worth flipping. He preaches honesty and integrity, but don't mistake that for being soft. He knows how to close a deal, when to walk away, and how to turn a simple pawn shop into a full-blown empire. Is success about skill, luck, or just knowing the right people? For Les Gold, it's all of the above.